When it comes to social media strategy, and particularly when it comes to newsletters, I think the key for me is that you're creating content that you love and that you live every day and that you very much believe in. If you want something to be successful, you're going to have to do it consistently. You're going to have to do it for many weeks, many months, many years. You've got to do it with an infinite time span. And the only way you're going to be able to do that and do it, with a smile on your face every day is to do something that you love and something that you very much believe in. I mean, when I create my social media content, it's always about topics that I love every day, that I believe in, that I do every day, obviously business related stuff or stuff about my family or stuff about funny things that I see. These are things that I will be doing, I will be talking about even if it wasn't on social media. I always create that content in a manner that is in my personal style, that is in my personal personality. Now that is not going to be for everybody. I often talk about the fact that standing on the front of a boat with my arse out is not for everybody. It's not for everybody to do, and it's certainly not for everybody to watch. But I very much come from the viewpoint that what you see with me on social media is the same personality. It's the same person that you would see off social media. And if you met me in real life, you would like me or dislike me in the same way that you would like or dislike me from social media. But if you don't like me on social media, you're not going to like me in real life. And if you don't like me in real life, you're not going to do business with me. Therefore, I don't really care what your opinion is anyway. I am trying to build a relationship, build that trust with people who do like me, who do get me, who do buy into my personality. You cannot please everybody. If you try and please everybody, you're going to please nobody. I always talk about, you've got to be a tutti frutti ice cream in a vanilla world. You've got to be a Ben and Jerry's Cherry Garcia, a caramel choo-choo. You've got to be a flavour that some people love and some people hate, but everybody's got an opinion on. Nobody's got anything to say about vanilla. It's just there as background filling to sit alongside a main course which tastes much more exciting and tastes much better. So social media, that's the key. When it comes to newsletters are all the rage nowadays. I think it's very important to have a newsletter because what you are doing then is owning that audience data. When you're on social media, when you're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it may be, you don't own your audience. That audience is very much working in a rented space. Meta or Elon Musk or whoever it may be own that audience data. When you're not on the platform, you can't message them. You have no control over them in any way. So what your focus should always be on social media is what can you do to get those people off social media? How can you get them from your social platforms and collect their email address so that you've got that first party data to be able to then send them a newsletter? When you've got that data and you then want to send them a newsletter, how do you create that content? Well, again, for me, it's very much the same kind of mentality, the same kind of attitude that you'd be using when creating content for social. You've got to do something that you love. You've got to do something that you believe in. And obviously, you've got to do something that your audience want to hear. Just like the social media landscape is very competitive, the newsletter landscape, even though it's still in its infancy, is very competitive too. There's newsletters out there in every conceivable topic. So if you want yours to stand out, it's got to be different. It's got to have content that people want to read. My particular newsletter focuses very heavily on my opinions and my thoughts of what I've been up to in the previous week. Now, again, that's not for everybody. If you don't know who I am, you'll probably be very bored with that. But if you do know who I am, if you do like listening to me normally, if you do buy into my theories, my strategies, my mentality, then you will get further bonded with me by reading that newsletter. But all of these different things ultimately need to be part of your 360-degree marketing strategy. I think you should have presence on every social media platform. You should have a podcast, you should have a newsletter, you should have an online website, you should have PR, you should be doing everything. You want to be omnipresent in as many places as possible. Obviously, all of this takes time, it all takes money, it's all resource. As much as I'd like you to be doing everything, if you can't do everything well, you should be doing some things good. You don't want to be doing many things half-heartedly, many things badly. You're better off just having one or two things. And if you've got to trim that down to just one or two or three platforms or marketing strategies, newsletters is a great one because, like I say, you own that data. But to be able to own that data, you've got to have gotten it from somewhere. So you do need to have a funnel that brings them into your ecosystem. Whether that's a podcast, whether that's social media, it's going to be down to you. It's going to be down to your style. It's going to be down to the resources that you've got. But I think if you only had to pick two strategies, I'd have a podcast for big funnel growth, for going far and wide, for being able to distribute your content to many people, and also for you to be able to sit down and get to talk to great guests on your podcast. And then secondly, I'd funnel them and filter them from the podcast into the newsletter. If you could only have two things, they would be my recommendations. If you have the resource to be able to do a bit more, then definitely bring at least one social media platform into that as well.